So we'll start with your name.
Stacey Sundberg siye et a naho.
And where are you from?
My name is Stacey Sundberg and I'm from Dada.
And we're interested in talking to people from these areas about, sharing about the land, the water, your knowledge of it. Do you go out on the land? Do you harvest? What's your culture?
Dene culture. Dene culture entails everything from the rocks to the water to the grass to the fish. Everything's connected. The elders always tell us that we're like a family that's connected from one entity to another, right? From the water to the human to the animals to the land. So we're all connected, and everyone has their role to play on earth in their respective regions. That's why Creator made us for Dene to be in Denende, to take care of the land and the water in Denende. So when we were younger as children, my older sister and my younger sister, we always went on the land with our grandparents, with our aunties, with our uncles, with our mom and our dad, and we were so lucky to have that opportunity to go out there and explore our land and to touch the trees and the water and the berries and to be one with nature, and I guess try to connect to either a higher power or to the land and water, to better know ourselves of who we are as Dene people. And like I said, we had a great opportunity to go out on the land, went out on the boat, went berry picking, went to sacred sites, went to old burial sites as we grew up. And Giant Mine being right there, it affected us.
How far is it from your community?
Probably about 10 kilometers. So it's right over here. So our river right here flows out into the Great Slave Lake, and then the Great Slave Lake the river goes into the Great Slave Lake, and then there's the Giant Mine like right there, right beside our water.
What river is this?
This is the Willide Coney Fish River. In English, it's the Yellowknife River. For our people, it's Coney Fish River Willide, because when our ancestors used to come here in the summertime to make dry fish and to go fishing and to gather like we're doing today, and there used to be millions probably of coney fish in this river before the non-Indigenous people came to our homeland and the colonial people came to our shores. And this river was actually big. The water right now you see was running all the way up to these trees. So the river was really big until it got smaller and smaller. Probably because of the mine, the way they were using the water, things happening upshore and up the river here and other areas of mining and stuff. So I thought it was normal living next to a mine that contaminated our area and our water, and there wasn't really any small game or animals in this area. Our elders always said that we couldn't eat the fish that was 20 kilometers within the diameter of the Giant Mine, and that was in Dada, and that was in this area, and that was in Yellowknife. So we really couldn't hunt fish and trap in this area because of that mine and what it did to our people and the land and the animals and the water. And right now, the elders are saying, leave that land alone. She needs to rejuvenate herself, and she needs to heal herself. And she can do that with us helping them, with us helping Mother Earth by staying off that contaminated land over there. So right now we're starting to see grass growing green. We're starting to see trees growing. We're starting to see fish coming back to our waters. We're starting to see small game in this area, which we haven't seen in 20 to 40 years since the Giant Mine and the Con Mine started. So our elders were really unfortunate for for wild game and fish and all the things that they eat off the land. And we had to go 25 kilometers out every time we had to go hunting, fishing, or trapping. But then we get cut off from the colonial world that infringes their privileged rights, I guess, of what they can do on our land. But I think by educating them and discussing with the non-Indigenous people how important our land and our water is, we need to start saying it more. We need to start speaking out. We need the young people to start talking about more of these things at meetings like this. I do a lot of, for me, it's language and culture. We need those two to find out who we are, and we need to help the young people to start practicing it. The more we practice culture and language, Dene culture and Dene languages in our community within ourselves, we're going to start to figure out who we are, where we come from. Some of us know who we are, where we come from, but they don't know where their grandparents or where their parents grew up or where they came from. So by acknowledging these places where we came from and the languages that we speak and the land that we're on, doing land acknowledgement is really important. And by teaching the young people this stuff, that when they're my age, they're gonna know more of how to take better care of the land, how to take better care of the water, how to take better care of themselves, how to take better care of the land and the animals and everything around them that's living, and try to make those connections from water to land to animals to human beings. And how do we work together as Indigenous people of Denende to try to help keep the water clean, try to keep it pristine. And that's what our Indigenous Dene elders did for centuries. Like, they did this for so long that I think we're starting to forget our ways on how we're supposed to take care of our water and our land, and how we're supposed to conduct ourselves and be Dene people and know our roles as Dene women, men, children, and elders. So everybody has a role to play in the community, but I think we're losing sight of that. But if we just got some guidance and some support from elders and people like you, and say, you know, this is what we need to do as Dene people, and we all have our roles, we should go out there to find it. And the elders say the only way you could find yourself and find all that is if you go to the bush and you walk the land and you visit the trees and pick the berries and go on the lake and give respect to all of that. We're continuing what was left behind, or when the last of the older generation stopped doing it. Us young people are just taking that and we're just continuing it and trying to go forward with today's society, everything that's going around us, mining, chemicals, organizations, corporations, all these people in Yellowknife that are harvesting our medicines and our food on the land, and all that. Is just so much things happening with all of that, where we need to start teaching the non-Indigenous people how that medicine is not to be bought. We cannot pay for medicine. We could trade, we can help each other, but buying the medicine off the land and buying it off people, I think it has a lot of work to do, I think, with it. We are going forward in a different time, in a different generation. There's a lot of young people starting to learn more about medicine than when they did as a child. Picking up all that from when we were children, and then in the 90s it kind of got lost. You see, even with the drumming with the guys, it kind of got lost. Now, my generation, we're starting to pick that up. The young people are starting to wanting to know more about medicines, how to pick it, what's the protocol. The protocol is the biggest thing. The older people are not really telling us. Maybe they don't know, maybe they do, maybe they forgot some. But I think us as young people, we're like, okay, I think this is the protocol, let's try it. Let's ask an elder, let's ask an older person, what are the protocols to do fire ceremony? What's the protocols to do a water ceremony? If we can get all those back and research it and talk to elders and have a group of people that are willing to work with Dene Nation and the whole Dene people of Denende to help do what you're doing and make it bigger, known, and bring it to AFN and bring it to Canada and all these places, and let them know about how young people feel about water and how important it is for our people in the generations to come. For me, growing up on the land, like I said, we harvest, we went on the land, and it was only maybe till I was 11 or 12, I start comprehending what was medicine. Right away, medicine, pharmaceuticals. Right away, medicine, Uptown Shoppers Drug Mart. Right away, what's medicine? Something you take when you're sick. Right away, we were thinking colonial. And then some of us turn this way and we're like, I think our medicine is this. I think our medicine is spruce gum. I think our medicine is spruce trees. Our medicine is the clean water. I think by acknowledging that and talking more about how important and what are the ways we can start helping, or the strategies of how we can help our water in our land, to be better educated to the young people and have more sessions or workshops or gathering like this of Dene people and include the youth and let them talk about how they feel about water, land, animals, fish, medicines. Like I said, there's a lot of young people that are starting to use and know more about medicine, which is really good to see and to hear that our people are going back to our ancestors' ways. It's who they are. It's in them. I always say, there's one young girl where we're sewing. I don't know how to sew. I said, what? Come, I'll tell you something. She came beside me. I don't know how to sew, just real upset. I was like, you know what? Your grandma was the best sewer in your community. Showed her a picture on the internet. Look at that. Look how beautiful her sewing was. She wasn't good at first, but she kept on practicing. And when she got older, look how beautiful. You're going to be the same way. You keep on practicing. You're going to be just like your grandma sewing. Holy just inspired her. She just like starts sewing and, oh, how do you do this? Oh, she's not getting frustrated no more. She's asking for help. She wants to learn more. I always say it's in the children. They're just trying to find themselves. They're trying to find this Dene person in this colonial world that we're living in. I think more support and help from elders, leaders, other youth, people like you, our parents, our grandparents. If we had all the support in one big circle, I think definitely the kids are going to want it. They're on the start line right now and they're just like, come help us, take my hand, come show me. I don't want to do it the wrong way, or I need to know the protocols before I do it. Some youth are like that. Some youth are like, I'm just going to go do it and go try and see if this works or not. And if it doesn't work, I'll try again. You know, so we have different youth having on different levels of how they want to be a Dene person, how they want to see the world. Coming to things like this, I invite youth because they need to see what our leadership is talking about. What's important on the table? Is it youth? Is it water? Is it land? And I think the biggest one is probably land, because everybody wants our land and everybody wants our clean water. But us Dene people, like you heard an elder yesterday, I think he said, we cannot give up our land or our water.